Most videos discussing achievements and trophies cover the rarest and hardest out there, but that's such a limited view of things. There are all kinds of permutations to consider. Hardest that are surprisingly common? Lots of PlayStation exclusives have quite common platinums, all things considered. The most commonly unlocked achievements and trophies? Anything above a 98% unlock rate is quite rare, at least for games I've heard of. Or, why we're all here, the achievements and trophies with the longest names. Wait, that's not right. The achievements and trophies that are surprisingly ultra rare. So what do I mean by that? First, easiness. For something to be easy, the average gamer should be able to do it with little to no frustration in less than 8 hours. But if it can be unlocked in just a few minutes, it's allowed to be a bit more frustrating, but not Mile High Club frustrating. Ultra rare will take a bit more explaining though. I don't just mean a less than 5% unlock rate like how it's defined with PlayStation. That's too common to be all that interesting. Traditionally, ultra rare achievements and trophies are a dime a dozen. Here's 3 that I found in a couple minutes. Battlefield 4's Well Placed. Kill 10 enemies with C4 in the first campaign level. Shovel Knight Dirt Poor. Don't collect any gold in a main level. Doom 2016. Shareware. Publish a snap map. Each of these have unlock rates well below 5% on Xbox and PlayStation. They're all very easy to do, so what's the problem? Well, these unlock rates are just for the general population, many of whom don't really care about achievements and trophies. So when the unlock criterion is some random thing few people will naturally do, seriously, who makes snap maps in Doom? Well, the unlock rate is going to be low a lot of the time. So I think it makes sense to factor in the achievement hunter community by looking to the true achievements and true trophies unlock rates as well. For the 3 tasks I mentioned before, the TA and TT rates seem a lot more reasonable, though to be fair, they are still quite low. Moving forward, I'm looking for achievements and trophies with less than 5% super rarity. That is, a rarity of less than 5% when a weighted average is taken across Xbox, PlayStation, TA, and TT. And the lower the better. I want to find the achievement/trophy with the biggest disparity between its rarity and its ease of being unlocked. I found 8 solid choices, but I think the final one is the best. And I completely ignored DLC and online-based achievements and trophies for simplicity. Let's get started. Number 8. This achievement is actually the one that inspired this video. It's We Have Won from Section 8. For some reason, the trophy list doesn't include this achievement, so we only have the Xbox numbers to go by. When I got it a while back, the Xbox unlock rate was below 5%, but it has since gone up a surprising amount considering how old the game is. But the true achievements unlock rate is what really got me. Just 1.07%. To understand why that's so surprising, look at this graph. It shows the percent of achievements that fall within the given unlock rates for the TA and TT communities. Unfortunately, this data cannot be easily gathered for the general population, or I would have done that too, and it likely would be skewed a lot more to the right. TA and TT almost always have higher unlock rates than the overall population. Excluding broken achievements, meaning ones no one can ever unlock, only 8.4% of all achievements have an unlock rate below 4% on true achievements, and the same is true for only 3.2% of trophies on true trophies. You could say that rare achievements are themselves quite rare. So for We Have Won to have an unlock rate of 1.07% is extraordinary. What's funny though is the general Xbox population unlock rate is so much higher than this. That's almost never the case. That puts the super rarity at 2.39%. For comparison, here are the super rarities of some more well-known achievements and trophies. I personally was quite surprised by the Bloodborne Platinum. True trophies popped off with that one. Okay, we got the rarity stuff out of the way, but how easy is We Have Won? You have to overdrive 280 kilometers. In Section 8, if you sprint for a few seconds, Overdrive Sprint will kick in. It's basically the game's way of not having to make the huge maps interesting because you can just run really fast to get to your objective. I think the developers either greatly misjudged how often players would use this ability, or how long people would be playing this game, because I had less than 40 kilometers done after the campaign and some multiplayer. Thankfully, there's an easier method to get it besides replaying the game, which requires basically no effort. All you have to do is set up an instant action game by yourself, playing with yourself makes things easier, find an open patch of land, and rubber band or tape your controller to make yourself run in circles for a while. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. It should take about 10 hours starting from scratch. When I got this done, it was by far my rarest achievement on True Achievements, which was kind of weird because I didn't really do anything. That's a feeling I got quite used to while making this video, just confused about how I should feel going for such low-hanging but well-hidden fruit. That brings me to number 7. Insert coin from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. This is the second rarest achievement and trophy in the game, only slightly behind another fairly easy one, I Love the 80s. But that one's a bit more frustrating. Those darn teddy bears. For Insert Coin, all you have to do is play every arcade game in the Zombies map, Zombies in Spaceland. If you're brand new to Call of Duty Zombies, I can see this being a bit tricky, but it's not bad at all. Just turn on the power to a few areas and earn at least one ticket from the 6 arcade games, plus the roller coaster. Interact with one of each type of arcade machine, and then kill yourself. Then you gotta play all the games in the afterlife too. And voila, piece of cake. What's strange about Insert Coin is that on Xbox, it's 6.5 times rarer than the achievement for completing the quite difficult main Easter egg, and it's 7 times rarer on PlayStation. That just seems so backwards. The super rarity comes out to 2.71%, which is really brought up by the TT community. They do usually have the higher unlock rates from what I've gathered. That's a nice segue to number 6, which is the only PlayStation exclusive on this list, because I couldn't find many somewhat easy ultra-rare trophies for them, but I wanted to be nice and include at least one, so here's the diversity pick. In Killzone Shadowfall, if you kill 5 Helghast with a gun while ziplining, you get the Outmaneuvered trophy. It's quite easy because of Chapter Select, letting you go back to grind it out if you missed it. Chapter 2 is probably your best bet to get it done. The unlock percent for PlayStation users is a lowly 0.5%, but those true trophy guys had to show off, so their unlock rate is 7.07%, which is not nearly as rare. That puts the super rarity at 4.88%, 4.5 times rarer than the trophy for beating the campaign. Number 5. It's actually kind of sad how rare this achievement is from Halo the Master Chief Collection. Remove the Bishop from the board tasks you with killing 1,000 Watchers, which can only be found in the Halo 4 campaign. What makes this sad is that this achievement has an Xbox rarity on par with the Halo 3 Legendary Speedrun achievement, which is of course much harder. That means that people just don't play Halo 4's campaign all that much. I kind of feel bad for 343 Industries, except not really. The super rarity comes out to 1.10%, which is less than the Halo 3 Lasso achievement. But it's gotta be somewhat hard to explain the rarity, right? I mean, 1,000 Watchers is a lot, and I killed only about 70 during a playthrough of the campaign, so if you grind it out normally, it would take a very long time. But there are much faster alternatives. By far the best is farming a Watcher-heavy checkpoint. This one on the shutdown mission is probably the best. I kept track, and you can kill over 1,000 Watchers in under an hour. With that, you will have unlocked one of the rarest achievements in a game known for having lots of incredibly hard achievements. This isn't one of those, but it's the next best thing. Number 4. We got another Call of Duty Zombies one. I swear that was purely a coincidence on my end. That's probably due to most players sticking to multiplayer, not really getting into zombies as much. This time we head to Black Ops 4, and yeah, people didn't really take to this version of zombies all that well. The achievement/trophy is The Doctor is In, requiring you to fall 10 feet and slide to kill 10 zombies with the PhD slider perk. This is the rarest achievement on Black Ops 4 for Xbox, excluding DLC, and tied for rarest on PlayStation. The super rarity comes out to 1.29%, incredibly low all things considered. There are probably 2 things keeping people from getting this more often: acquiring the perk, and finding a nice high spot to jump from. PhD slider is unlocked at level 42, which will take you about 11 hours to reach. That's not very easy, but there's an alternative in the form of Secret Sauce, which grants you a random perk. Again, if you haven't played zombies all that much, this may be a bit of a challenge, but BO4 Zombies with casual difficulty turned on is by far the easiest zombies experience in my opinion. What you've got to do for The Doctor is In is play on Blood of the Dead and buy all 4 perks, which means turning on the power. There is some RNG involved with Secret Sauce. It'll take on average about 8 rerolls of the perk to get the one you want, but you may get lucky. Then round up a nice sized horde at the bottom of the stairs by the first power switch, and you know what to do. COD players are no stranger to killing things while falling from great heights. The next two achievements/trophies coming up are probably the least easy, but they're also the rarest to make up for that. So, number 3, Madden NFL 13's Lawrence Taylor Award, as well as the other awards for defensive players, as they are so similar. This bad boy is super rare, with a whopping super rarity of 0.64%. That's right, lower than Lasso Master and Personal Decorator. Now to be fair, unlocking this the normal way would take anywhere around 40 to 50 hours, but using the right method, that can easily be cut down to under 6 hours, which is how long it took for me. The Lawrence Taylor Award requires getting more legacy score than, well, you guessed it, Lawrence Taylor, in the career mode as a linebacker. As with most sports games, for some reason the game lets you adjust the computer skill and penalties without disabling achievements and trophies. That means you can turn off offsides. And that's the key. Turn off offsides and instantly sack the quarterback each play. It's a dirty tactic, it's totally ridiculous, but it works. In fact, you'll usually get enough sacks to get the league MVP by the first 2 games, meaning you can simulate the rest of the season. For sure, it'll be pretty boring, but boy is it easy. I got my achievement at the start of the 6th season into my career, then retired with a debilitating case of chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Now for number 2. This is another Xbox exclusive cause those pesky PlayStation users just love their platinums so much. Rare Replay. There are a lot of ultra rare achievements from this game, but the first easy one is A Great Escape, which you get for beating the Escape Artist playlist. It's basically a short level from 5 different games back to back where you exit at the end. Kind of a weird concept, I know. For rarity, we're talking a super rarity of 0.74%, which is just above the Lawrence Taylor Award. But this one can be done in less than 5 minutes if you know what you're doing. I didn't for a while, so it took me over an hour, but I suck at these kinds of games. The first stage is from Attic Attack. It's incredibly simple and easy, just memorize a good path to the exit and you won't have any trouble. The next is from Saber Wolf. This one's a bit trickier due to all the randomness. Thankfully, you can take a few hits without dying. Pick up the blue or red power-ups whenever you can because those really help. Then comes Battletoads, which is surprisingly easy given the game's reputation. Out of the 5, this stage is the one that holds up the best to modern standards, so you shouldn't have much trouble getting to the end. Now for the most annoying stage, this one from Snake, Rattle, and Roll. What makes this tricky is the camera angle. You can't really see where you're jumping most of the time. Just make your way through carefully and you'll eventually get it. And finally, the stage from Tigger T Rock. Definitely the worst game out of the 5 in terms of quality, but thankfully you just have to jump over a handful of enemies to get to the end. And there you have it. Don't fail more than 3 times across the 5 stages, and you'll have this incredibly rare achievement in the bag. Before number 1, I have some honorable mentions. Achievements and trophies that didn't quite make the cut, either because they aren't rare enough or they're not quite easy enough. The first 2 are similar in that they require doing something on a specific day. Storyteller in Batman Arkham City has you talk to Calendar Man, the best supervillain ever, on 12 different holidays. That's in the real world, as in the game wants you to get up Christmas morning, ignore your family, and go say hello to Calendar Man. Or you could manually change your console date to whatever you want. This has a super rarity of 6.01%, mostly because of the true trophies unlock rate that always has to ruin everything. And then you have Mighty Number 9. Sorry, I think I threw up there. Mighty Number 9 has Mighty Anniversary, where you have to finish the game on the 9th of the month. Any month. That's only an achievement, not a trophy, which helps its rarity, making the super rarity a surprising 0.73%. So why was this not in the main list? I really just didn't feel like playing through the game. Next are a few from Worms WMD. What's odd about these is that they're all basically just beat the campaign, do the side missions, and maybe a couple extra missions to reach max rank, and that's it. It's not a bad game at all, not too long either. Campaign plus side missions will take less than 20 hours, but for some reason very few people do that. Just beating the campaign has a super rarity of 2.84%. Doing that plus the bonus missions should get you to max rank, and that will grant you the 3 other incredibly rare unlocks too. It's wild to me just how few people beat this perfectly decent game. And the last honorable mention is for Overload, quite an overlooked game that's perfectly decent too. The achievement/trophy 3rd Street is unlocked by breaking every monitor in the game. What makes this not easy enough for the list is, though the game can be beaten in under 6 hours, you have to break all 185 monitors all in one go without replaying any of the 13 missions, and without a counter to keep up with your progress. I can see that getting quite frustrating, but on the flip side, it also has the lowest super rarity of anything in this entire video, with a 0.40% unlock rate. That's mostly because literally no one on True Trophies has unlocked it. It's not glitched or anything, it's just that barely anyone plays Overload. And now, here is my pick for the trophy/achievement with the biggest disparity between difficulty and rarity: Abyss Veteran from Neon Abyss. You just have to enter into a stage 999 times. All you do is hit quick restart after falling into the stage over and over again. But here's the thing, if you spam the enter button while selecting quick restart, you can get multiple entrances done in one go. You can get Abyss Veteran done in under 18 minutes, rather than the 3 or so hours with the normal method. And that's assuming you start fresh at 0. Okay, so it's super easy, just press a couple buttons over and over. But it's also laughably rare, 1.27% super rarity. Yeah, that's not as rare as a Great Escape or Lawrence Taylor Award, but literally all you have to do is press some buttons. Well, technically all video games are just pressing buttons, but you know what I mean. Abyss Veteran is basically one step away from press start to play from The Simpsons. It's just ridiculous how rare it is. But why? Why are some easy achievements and trophies rarer than some of the hardest of all time? It really comes down to prestige. Lasso Master, 7-Day Survivor, Mile High Club, there's a sense of accomplishment and pride in unlocking something you know is difficult and has been agreed upon by the wider community to be a worthy feat for only the most seasoned players. We choose to hunt for these achievements and trophies not because they are easy, but because they are hard, because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. With frivolous feats of running in circles, shooting some robots, sacking some QBs, the masses show apathy to these inane, tedious, irrelevant unlocks, and so they fall into obscurity, long forgotten, but not lost. I have retrieved these curiosities from the depths, and displayed them before you now, and like silence breaks upon its mention, so too may these easy, yet ultra-rare achievements and trophies cease to exist after they are brought into the light for an eager and equipped player base. So do tell, shout from the rooftops, these exotic unlocks are ripe for the taking. Or maybe don't, just keep these between you and me. The choice is yours.